Happy Halloween, gals and guys. In this edition of My Media Helpers Entertainment Online, we'll take a peek at some free and scary films that are streaming through a frightening bandwidth near you. Each day this week, I will jump on a different streaming service to give you my best picks as to what flicks to check out this 2021 Halloween season. There are so many movies on these streaming services, it's hard to determine what's worth watching. I want to recommend some of my personal favorites. The films I present to you aren't necessarily award winners by any stretch of the imagination. These are solid films, and they're certainly worth a watch during the witching season. For today's picks, we're going to explore my top 5 of what Tubi has to offer in no particular order. I Spit on Your Grave. 2010 remake. I didn't realize this was a remake of a 1978 movie of the same name until this review. I've only seen the 2010 version, so that's what I'll be talking about in this review. And perhaps at some future time, I'll check out the original for comparisons. I Spit on Your Grave is considered torture porn to many. I consider it a valid revenge film, and I'll discuss why. Yes, this film depicts torture and rape in a very graphic way. It's disturbing to watch. There's a lot of nudity and little is left to the imagination. There's certainly no joy in watching a human being suffer, even in a fictional movie. And we all understand this type of cruelty exists in the real world. I think any good, moral person would watch this and be disturbed. It's okay to be uncomfortable with a film. It does mean it's done the job to set the mood and make its point. I would be concerned if someone wasn't uncomfortable watching this. I Spit on Your Grave turns into a Schindler's List kind of deal, and no, I'm not comparing these two films by any means. My meaning behind saying that is it's not a film I want to see over and over again. I'm not a fan of watching people suffer, be it fictitious or not. Schindler's List is a great movie, but one I will probably never watch again, and the same holds true for I Spit on Your Grave. That's the only comparison I make between the two. And yes, I liked both movies in different ways, and I'm not calling I Spit on Your Grave a great movie. I feel it's worth certainly a watch for a great revenge movie, but I'm certainly not making the comparison that it's right up there with Schindler's List. And seeing her suffer, the visuals of her suffering makes the revenge part of the film so much sweeter. I mean, the filmmakers pulled no punches. You really want the character Jennifer Hill to fuck her captors and rape his shit up in a big-ass way. And she does just that in a pretty creative methods. There are sequels to this film, and I attempted to watch the second one with little success. Didn't take me long to turn it off. Well, I feel this one had a good reason to show the brutal actions of some evil people towards Jennifer. It became more of how much can we get away with in the second one. It was even more disturbing, if that was even possible. It was a bit much for me. I'll stick to the original. Well, the original remake anyways. I wouldn't call I Spit on Your Grave a fun Halloween movie, like the over-top Friday the 13th or most of the Halloween sequels. It is disturbing. It has a good deal of scares and kills. I would call it a horror movie. You can make that decision. You can get through the rape scene. What comes next is a whole lot of revenge, and that's what I love about this movie. Let me know what you think down in the comments. She's beautiful, seductive, intelligent, and her charms could spell doom for the entire human race. This could have been a very silly and stupid movie. In some ways it is. It's also pretty damn good. The reason being the actors sell it in a big way. Your cast is Marge Helgenberger, Michael Madsen, Forrest Whitaker, Alfred Molina, and Ben Kingsley, and let's not forget the very luscious Natasha Henstridge as Syl. Let's talk about the concept. It does read pretty dumb on paper. From IMDb, Species involves a group of scientists who try to track down and trap a killer alien seductress before she successfully mates with a human. The scientists fear she may mate with human males and produce offspring that could eventually eliminate the human race. The film comes with a solid script and actors who are invested in their characters and the film they're in. I could see how this film could have turned into a complete train wreck, but it doesn't. It's thoroughly entertaining. I loved it. It's great. Watch it. It's a great Halloween movie. Let me know what you think down in them there comments. The Descent. A caving expedition goes horribly wrong as the explorers become trapped and ultimately pursued by a strange breed of predators. I had no zero zippo idea what to expect when I sat down to watch this movie, and I had no idea what the film would eventually turn into. I basically knew nothing about this film. It is a pretty awesome twist if you have no idea what's coming. Unfortunately, I kind of already gave it away, so if you're watching this video, you already know. But don't let this deter you from checking out the film. Like all the movies listed this time out, they're all very solid, very scary viewing for the Halloween season. And that's what it's all about, right? We love to get the shit scared out of us. The Descent is a 2005 British adventure horror film written and directed by Neil Marshall. The film follows 6 women who have entered a cave system and struggle to survive against the humanoid creatures inside. As with most of the films in this video review, the film began a franchise of sequels that I have never personally seen. You'll have to let me know if you've watched further installments and if any of them are worth checking out. This one certainly is, so go ahead, get to Tubi, and watch this sucker. House. The greatest American hero, William Catt, did have a film career in the early 1980s, as well as a hit television show. He's pretty much disappeared since then. One particularly quirky film I watched as a teenager was House. Keep in mind this movie is a few decades old and the effects have become dated. But if you like checking out older practical special effects, then it's also part of the current charm. This movie is dumb, and I mean dumb in only a fun 80s scary movie can be. It takes some time to get going. Sitcom stars Richard Mall and George Wendt both show up. It's a good watch. Obviously, it's a good watch. I'm recommending it. Author Roger Cobb is a troubled man. He and his wife have separated. Their only son, Jimmy, has disappeared without a trace, and his aunt has committed suicide by hanging. On top of everything else, he has been pressured by his publisher to write another book. To the dismay of his fans and publisher, Roger plans a novel based on his experiences in the Vietnam War instead of another horror story as a way to purge himself of the horrors that he experienced while there. After his aunt's funeral, Roger decides to live inside her house to write instead of selling it, as recommended by the estate attorney. After moving in, Roger begins to have powerful graphic nightmares, including thoughts about his comrade, Big Ben, who died in Vietnam. In addition, strange phenomena spring forth from the house, haunting him in his waking hours. House. It's a fun Halloween watch, so watch it this Halloween. Virus. I fully admit this is a dumb movie. I seem to keep saying that, but I love it. It's dumb fun. Throw any common sense and rules for anything out the freaking window and just enjoy a stupid movie this Halloween. It has a solid cast of Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Sutherland, and Cliff Curtis. Okay, yes, William Baldwin is in this. I guess you have to take the good with the bad. I don't think he's a particularly great actor. I'm not a big fan of the Baldwin collectively, so don't let my bias keep you from enjoying the film. After outrunning a typhoon at sea, a strong-willed tugboat navigator and her crew discover a high-tech alien life form that takes control of a Russian research vessel and aims to destroy on a massive scale. Based on the comic book of the same name, it tells the story of a ship beset by a malevolent extraterrestrial entity that seeks to turn humanity into cyborg slaves. It's a silly idea, it's a silly film, it's fun, it's good. Happy Halloween. Join us next video, gals and guys, as we're going to go over my top 5 you can watch on IMDb for Halloween. See you then. Bye-bye. I got my throat.